Welcome back to the Davidsdoor podcast. One thing I get asked a lot, and we're going to be talking about in this podcast, is some of my biggest shifts that have in my mind, in my mindset, in the way I live my life, in the way I approach things since stepping away or taking the lenses of Christianity off and leaning more into a pagan way of life. So I get asked this question all the time because in 2020 I was Christian. Now it's 2026. So for 6 years I have been pagan, or at least using that term to describe how I feel, how I experience this reality, this life. And it just resonates with me. I use eclectic pagan. However, there's Christians and pagans alike who are curious, like what are the biggest shifts, especially new pagans. So if you're a new pagan watching this, welcome. If you're new to my channel, welcome. It's good to see you on the Davidsdoor podcast. We talk about fun things like this. Of course, if you leave comments down below, I'm reading the comments. Ask a question, include some topics down below. I love to go the direction that you find interesting or curious. But talking about this transition into, or this expansion is the best way I'd want to say it, to paganism, to the spiritual world, to more than just a paved path of a religion that I grew up in my whole life. And I wasn't necessarily forced to be Christian. It was just one of those things my dad told me. He didn't really know how to instill morals or how to raise me necessarily. So he knew that at least the church would have a good base, based off what he had known. And I respect him for that, and I appreciate him for that, because it did help me a lot in the times when we were growing up. But one thing I really noticed about being a Christian, and then again, this isn't against any Christians. If you're a Christian watching this, or you have Christian friends or whatever, dude, there's no hate on a religion or Christians or whatever. Not everybody's the same. Not everybody's gonna have the same experience I had. Not everybody's going to have the same perspective I have. This is just my story. So, at that time, I thought I was doing everything right when I was Christian, when I considered that to be my identity. But I often felt very restricted, heavily judged, and often just afraid to be human. I was afraid to just do anything, really, that didn't feel like it was just progress or moving forward in some way, shape, or form. I wasn't allowed to have fun. I wasn't allowed to laugh. I wasn't allowed to be wrong. I didn't want to be loud. I was trying to be perfect because I didn't want to be judged, And when I stepped away from that version of belief, that channel, my life really began to change. It really expanded, I guess you could say. My feelings during, jeez. Sorry, I'm still recovering a little bit. Thank you for bearing with me here. I appreciate it. But fear of judgment, fear of punishment. I always felt watched. Feels like somebody's watching over your shoulder all the time. It's just very uncomfortable. A huge pressure to be right all the time. I would always be checking myself, but not from a place of love. It was more of a place of fear. Like, careful, God's watching. Like, it was very fear-based. Just living, and which fear and love. Love is accepting, accepts you as you are. And it always just felt like I was being observed and judged, and if I got it wrong, that there would always be consequences. God's always watching, and there's always retribution. It was one of those things where it was just very fear. I was always scared. Never feel like I was doing enough. Never felt like I was enough. Always felt separated, disconnected. Felt like a black sheep, kind of outcast, no matter how hard I tried, how much I leaned into it. There had been nights when I was younger, going through some things where I'd break down crying in bed, like begging for God to talk to me type thing. I've been in those dark pits looking for the light to speak, and I really began to see the light, see the light, I guess is the right way to say it, when you take the lenses of the silly personification, I call it silly personification of the Christian version of a god, a he, a man in the sky type thing, who's wrathful and requires you to do things for him. It's a very interesting, like, tyrannical perspective of an all-loving, all-powerful being, supposedly. And it just really, it didn't feel real to me. It didn't really make sense. So in my step away from Christianity, I didn't actually lose my connection to God at all. I just changed my relationship with it. My view of it, my perspective of it, my understanding of it, the oneness of all things. It's really led to a mindset that has changed the way I interact with life. And I wrote down a few things here. Let's see. So these are a few things that really shifted for me. I stopped seeing my mistakes as something to be punished and started seeing them as something to understand, to sit with, and to learn from, rather than scold myself and get angry at myself and be upset and strike fear. Instead of asking, why did I mess up? I started asking myself, what is this showing me? That was a very big shift for me, because why did I mess up? I'm always messing up. These are things I used to always tell myself. And now, like, if I make a mistake or something comes up, or it just feels like it's not aligned or whatever, if those moments come up, when they do, because it's just, we're human, I more listen to the moment itself. Instead of scolding myself, I sit and okay, what is this teaching me? What is this trying to show me? What is this saying? Another shift was I used to be very hard on myself because I felt like I was disappointing something higher. I wasn't doing enough for God's approval, But now I just meet myself where I'm at. Where am I? I'm here now, doing the best I can, and how can I do slightly better? How can I be honest with myself? In those real honest moments, sitting with yourself, and not being hard on yourself because you feel like you need to prove something or impress someone or be loved by something through your works, which is crazy. But when you really sit with yourself, you're like, okay, let's be real. Where are we at, and what can we do? That was a big shift that happened. Another one was I stopped feeling separate from the world. Started feeling like I was actually part of the world, part of the whole organism of existence, of life, of the planet, of the galaxy, whatever. The whole organism of life itself. Like, we're actually a part. You're actually a part of it. You're the only you that will ever exist, ever. That ever has existed, ever will exist. You are the only you. Which means you are a piece of this entire experience, and you're here experiencing it. It's beautiful. But in the other perspective I was at, I felt very separate, like kind of like you're walking your own journey alone with God. Do not make mistakes or you will be punished. So it felt very isolating, very scary, very unsure, very fear-based. It was one of those things that just really kept me feeling crippled. Another shift was I used to feel like I had the truth, the answer, and everybody else was wrong. That's just what I felt. And it was one of those things where I never really actually heard people talking. Oh, you believe something different? Oh, you're wrong. That's the devil. That's Satan. You're being deceived. And now the big shift here is that I'm really more curious. I'm more curious than certain. There are a few things that I feel I understand. I'm open to understanding deeper. However, like the knowing, there's a knowing as if you're here. You're looking through your eyes. You're in there. That's a knowing. It's not a belief. There are certain things that you learn to know about self, about yourself, about this existence. But it's an ever-ending, constantly unfolding flower, like the lotus. It never stops. There's no end to it, because it's an endless cycle. And real connection really began when I started opening my mind to the idea of other belief systems, of other possibilities, of not being right, which is an ego killer, because we all like to be right. It feels good to be right, But if you're open to sit back and be like, okay, this is where I'm at currently, let's hear where you're at, let's find an understanding, or find if either of us have understandings, or if not, whatever. Just be comfortable with the moment in front of you without needing to prove yourself. Another shift here is I started to see life very differently. Not as something I needed to pass or prove myself in. I often felt like you have to prove yourself in life, But as this, simply an experience. A relationship between who I am and everything I'm experiencing. A relationship between who I am, and the Bible will say that I am, who I am, with the experience I'm receiving. Right here. Because the thing is, every experience you have means you're missing every other experience in existence. So right now, you're listening to this on YouTube, Spotify, driving, laundry, washing dishes, doing homework, whatever it is. I see you. Hello. Right now you're doing this, having that experience, and every other experience in all of existence is happening right now. Every other one. You've missed every other experience besides the one you're having, the one experience you're having out of the infinite experiences that are happening right now. So the whole idea is to build a love story between yourself and the world around you. Just love it. Love the experience you're having. Bring your love to it. Bring your presence to it. Even if it's hard, even if it's uncomfortable. But when you see it like that, you realize how insignificant our experience is. Now, that sounds strange. How insignificant our experience is. However, we're still having it. It's an experience that you're literally here for. The life you're experiencing, the way you're moving through it, the person that you're becoming. You're here to experience that. And it's so small. But it's yours. It's your little piece. You're going through it. You are part of the whole picture. And think about it, if your experience is so little, then go out and experience. Do things. Go have fun. Go learn to love. Go learn to travel. Go learn to run. Go learn to do marathons, triathlons. Go get really good at creating video games. Go whatever the dream is. It could be anything, man. Anything can be a dream. There's no level. It's just whatever your dream is. That thing, go experience it. Go through the experiences necessary. Even the pain itself is so insignificant compared to all the experiences that are happening. Depersonalize yourself with it. Don't take it so personally. Just understand there's pain in between where you are and where you want to be. Because you have to become a different version of yourself to step into that moment. Because the version of you that you are brought you to the moment you're in now. Now, one thing I really want to clarify moving forward into this Christian pagan mindset shift here is that I'm not saying that one of these paths are right or wrong. I'm not sitting here saying Christianity's wrong. This is just me sharing what allowed me to feel free. I feel free. I feel open. I feel connected. I feel love. I am. I understand. I see. I'm here. It's a wonderful place to be. Kind of rhymed, huh? So if you've ever really felt afraid to be yourself, or like you're constantly being judged, maybe it's just the lenses that you've been seeing life through. Maybe it's just the lenses you've been seeing life through. Maybe it's not your religion. Maybe it's just your belief systems. Like, I grew up this is just a belief system here. I grew up in a small town, therefore I could never do big city things. Not a big city person, but some people are. But for example, why does that matter? I'm a small town girl or guy but whatever. I don't really do cities, I don't think I'll ever be able to make it there. No, that's just a story you're telling yourself to justify not going there and doing it. I grew up here my whole life. I don't want to just up and leave, but I do want to travel. Well, those contradict themselves, man. Choose. And I love you. I love you for that, because I want you to know whatever it is that you feel you're walking towards, the only thing in the way is alignment. Aligning yourself with the beliefs, the understandings, the mindset, and the actions that bring you towards that thing, that experience, that being. People use religion, people use yoga, people use the gym. The gym's basically a freaking church. People use video games, people use nature, hikes. I love hikes. Those are kind of my thing. Everybody's got their path to peace. They got their path to freedom. You don't have to be spiritual. You don't have to be awakened. You don't have to be any of these types of labels that make you feel like you need to become anything other than yourself. Because you are the answer. The whole thing just circles back to you. That's really all it is. That'll get deeper and deeper as you move through your journey, if that doesn't feel super deep quite yet, which is normal. Again, we all have our journeys, but it all just comes back to you. It's all you. All you. And when you sit back and you realize it's all you, this is all you, this is all you happening right now, just take a breath, build a relationship with the happening, the moment, the infinite now, the present. Build a relationship with it, learn to love it, learn to interact with it from a place of love and understanding. And your life is going to happen kind of like magic, all right? Because it's freaking magic, all right? It's all magic and woo-woo stuff. I love it. It's great. But if you're in this shift between a different belief system, maybe coming from a religion or coming from a different background, and you're looking for another path to walk, if you're jumping from path to path to path, this is my advice for you here at the end. Thank you for sticking through it. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit the like button. Stick around every Tuesday and Friday at 5 p.m. EST. And join my email list down below. The links will show you where to go. But this path that you're walking, this is it here. Everybody's got paved paths. You'll see a bunch of paved paths. Religions, spiritualities, gurus, whatever. Like, they all have their paved paths. I even have my path that I'm paving, and I guide some people through it as well. But the truth is, your path is like stepping off the paved path into the forest, the dense forest. And when you're walking through your path, you're going to have to find your way through this forest your way. You're going to build your own path. You're going to clear out the leaves your way. You're going to learn how to flatten the ground, how to lay the bricks. That's what masonry is. Interesting thing to think about. Freemasonry, that laying the bricks, laying the foundations, building the mindsets, laying the foundations of your path. Masonry. However, learn from other paths, learn from different perspectives and different lenses, and just dive inward. It's all about your journey through this human experience. And that's freedom. That's freedom, jumping off the paved path and forging your way through, becoming a trailblazer. If you haven't heard that term, be a trailblazer. Look into that. Really cool. It's the people who blaze trails, hiking trails. They need to use the fire to burn through the brush and flatten it. It's controlled. But they're building their path through the woods to find their way to whatever it is, their home. And maybe you're on a journey to find yourself. Well, the path to yourself is through those woods, and you're going to have to pave your own path, because all those other paved paths are just leading to the self that they've discovered for them. And it may be a similar path that works for you, but take those steps in faith. It's going to be really, really cool. Thank you for joining me. And as always, don't forget to go down below. Let me know you made it to the end in the comments. Say I made it with the thumbs up so I can see it. And I will see you in the next episode. Stay awesome.